And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game from Mayday called Garbage Day. Now this has the shtick, right? It comes in a plastic garbage can. And the game is about throwing out the trash. In fact, the game is kind of like a college game where you and your roommates are together and you're throwing stuff in the trash and you're trying to balance it in the trash can. And you don't want to be the one to make the trash can overflow, or you're too lazy to go to the trash can and you throw stuff under your bed. It's really kind of a disgusting theme, but a theme that maybe might not be unfamiliar to many people. Well, anyhow, it's a dexterity game, a game in which you're going to stack cards. Here, let's take a look. Now there's actually two versions of the game. This is the regular version. There's a limited edition which comes with an expansion in the game. An expansion just add more cards, and there's several small expansions. But the cards come in the garbage can, which would twist on like that. But the garbage can is also a major part of the game. When you're playing the game, you put the lid in upside down like that and put it on the table. Each player is going to put a card in front of them that shows your room, where you have to clean your room at 10 or more, and your overflow. This shows how many cards it takes for you to be eliminated from the game. Now you might notice that this card has two holes in it. See them? Every card in a deck has these holes. Now on your turn, the first thing you will do is you will draw up to 3 cards in your hand. You're going to be playing then one of these cards. Now each person, like I said, has a room, and in that room they're going to start with a piece of clutter in the room. And each piece of trash has a certain number on it. And at the end of your turn, if the total of all the numbers in your room equals 10 or more, you have to put them in the trash. When you play a card in your hand, some cards can be played into your room. So I can just put this in my room. That's what that symbol means. But I can also put it straight into the trash. Whenever you put any card in the trash, you have to place it so that the holes, you can see the table underneath them. So that's a legitimate play. The next person might want to play the ruined skillet, so they could play it like that. And as the game goes by, as different cards are getting placed into the trash can, they're going to be laying on each other, and basically it's going to be making kind of a big far out thing like this. You can only use one hand when you're putting the cards down, and the holes have to be over the table itself. Now when you make the cards fall down, you have to put the cards into your overflow, and depending on the number of players, if a certain number of cards falls down, you're out, and you can see I would be out there. So when you have a card, there's also some cards, these are called mischief cards, and you can play them on someone else. That's what that card means. There's even a possibility to stick a card directly into someone else's trash. Like this one says, play this card in another player's room and name a card in the garbage can. That player must remove that card and place it in their room. And there's all sorts of things. Let's take a look at some of the cards in the game. There's a month-old pizza box. This can't be put directly in trash. It has to be put in your room. This also has a nasty symbol at the bottom. This symbol might come into play for some of the mischief cards. Here's overdue library books, ripped beanbag, a can of peas, dried up markers, chewed pencils, a wastebasket, punctured air mattress, dull butter knife, arts and crafts masterpiece. Pretty. If you stick that in your trash, you're going to be doing it soon. Intervention. If this card's in a player's room at the end of his next turn, he must clean his room. So you can play this into someone else's room to make it them have to do it. Half pair of scissors. And the different weights. Sometimes I'll go, I'll stick this in my own trash because it's easier than they're lovely. And smell cards. You just play these directly in someone else's. They do nothing except they will, when they do have to empty their trash, they increase the number of cards they put on here. Anyway, when your trash overflows, you are busted. And then you're out of the game. And we keep going till all players but one are out of the game, and that player is the winner. I'm not usually a fan of novelty packaging because they're hard to put on the shelves and stuff, but this one makes sense because this is actually part of the game. And it will probably sell well for them because people will be like, here's this game that's about garbage, and it's very much themed about garbage. The artwork in this game is almost like Mad Magazine. I don't know how to explain it, but it has a trashy feel to it because the game is about trash. And whoever picked the different things in this game, I look at them like, yes, getting rid of the Happy Meal toys and the soggy French fries and the tacky seashells that you bought for whatever reason. So the stuff you're throwing away makes sense, and I like that. That's cool and thematic. Other than that, the game is kind of a take-that game, right? You're playing good cards on yourself and bad cards on others. But essentially, you have to play stuff on yourself. You have to put cards in that trash can, and that's the whole point of the game. The whole point of the game is balancing cards on this trash can, which is pretty easy at the beginning, but gets harder and harder. And the question is, how many cards can you balance? Now, at conventions, I've seen people balancing a ton of cards on here. And the game can also end if you go through the deck of cards and not everyone's been eliminated, then whoever has the fewest trash under their bed at that point in time wins. But most of the time when I'm playing, I have yet to see, very few people have made a couple cards fall off. When you cause a collapse, everything falls down. So it's a dexterity game. It's like Jenga and everything else, but instead of with blocks, it's with cards. But I think this is elevated a little bit because I think the theme works. I think stacking with cards is unique and interesting. It's a game that gets people into it. There's a little bit of that take that on other people, but it's to be expected. It's not like, oh, here's me, let's take Judy out of the game. No, it's kind of just everyone's bouncing cards, and sometimes you'll see amazing sights, like someone has 10 pieces of trash in their bed, and they have to empty it, and they put all those in the trash can, and they manage to get them all. That's a moment for them. The next person has to get rid of one card, makes everything fall. It works well. It will cause a lot of laughter. I think it works especially well as a family game. That's Garbage Day. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!